What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are at d4builds.gg today, and we're going to talk about the endgame builds posted here. Specifically, right now on this video, we're going to talk about the summoner sorcerer. It's a build that mainly focuses on just summoning things around you and letting them fight for you. It's kind of like what is that? The Beastmaster from Final Fantasy, something like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to specifically discuss more about the skills and how they synergize on this build. And remember, this is an endgame build, so you probably want something else which is also posted here for leveling builds. These are designed to level up your character as fast as you can, so that you could just head over to endgame, build a respec, and then build yourself whatever the hell you want from these lists. So let's go ahead and discuss the summoner sorcerer, starting off with the basic cluster. Here we don't need anything. Actually, the only reason we're putting anything here is so that we could get way up over at the defensive cluster. But since we're at the basic cluster and we must put something, if you must put something here, put everything in firebolt. Firebolt deals 40% damage and burns people for 8 seconds. 8 seconds burning. That will also trigger some effects later on that we will discuss. Now for the core cluster, we really don't need anything here because we're going to focus on summoning later at the conjuration cluster. So for here, let's just put it on devastation, increase our maximum mana so we don't waste that one skill point. That unlocks our defensive cluster, wherein you'd want to take up Flame Shield. Why would you want a Flame Shield, you'd ask? Well, besides burning everyone around you, it also increases your movement speed by 25%. So it makes exploring easier. And the piece of resistance, we got a Shimmering Flame Shield, which basically heals you for 50% of your missing health. That is huge. 50% of your missing health. Imagine you on 1 HP clutching your freaking game with a Shimmering Flame Shield enhancement. Boom, 50% of that missing health just back to you. And if you're healthy and you don't need that missing health regeneration, and then you would be on ice armor. So ice armor is a barrier of ice that forms 6 seconds around you, absorbing 30% of your base life in damage. While ice armor is active, 5% of your damage dealt is also added to the barrier. So it's basically huge. Plus, when it's active, we want to take this one enhancement so that it increases our mana regeneration by 25%. Now, we also want, of course, teleport. It basically it transforms you into lightning, becoming unstoppable and surging to the target location, dealing 25% damage upon arrival. We're not taking it for the damage though. We're taking it for the reposition. So if this is still on cooldown, or you really just want to get out of there, you're stuck in a place, the teleport is going to save you. We're going to enhance that. When it's enhanced, teleport's cooldown is decreased by 0.05 seconds per enemy hit, up to 3 seconds. Again, we need that so that we can take Shimmering Teleport, wherein after you teleport, you gain 30% damage reduction. And that is huge. Can you imagine arriving and getting, an enemy getting lucky with you, hitting you, and just 30% of that damage gets absorbed? It's basically gone. It's reduced by 30%. So basically all of these are your core survival stuff. Finally, we have Glass Cannon. You deal 18% increased damage, but you take 9% more damage. That's why we need all of these other shields. We need that reduction on the Shimmering Teleport. We need that 50% of your missing life regeneration from the Shimmering Shield. And of course, we need this 30% of our base life as armor, as barrier from the ice armor, because we are taking Glass Cannon to increase our damage. Now, Glass Cannon stacks very well with all of the conjuration spells that we are going to get. So remember, we're dealing extra 18% increased damage on every single one of these spells. Firstly, let's go with Hydra. It summons a 3-headed Hydra for 10 seconds. Each head spits fire at enemies, dealing 17% damage. Again, I'm not going to keep telling you guys this, but again, that is increased by 18% more. Anyway, we're going to go and enhance it. While healthy, your casts of Hydra gain 1 additional head. So that's 1 more guy spitting fire. And finally, summon Hydra. Hydra also burns enemies for an additional 12% of its base damage over 6 seconds. So just perfect, you know. We'll talk about this and this a little bit later. First, I'm going to talk about the summons that we're going to put out. Next is Ice Blade, right? It conjures a pair of ice blades for 6 seconds that rapidly slashes, basically cuts off everybody around him, and has a 30% chance to make them vulnerable for 2 seconds. We're going to go ahead and enhance it, which basically means Ice Blade's cooldown is now reduced by 0.05 seconds each time it hits a vulnerable enemy. And finally, 20% of enhanced Ice Blade's cooldown reduction is applied to other skills. So it applies to the Hydra, it applies to Lightning Spear, it applies to freaking Flame Shield, the Teleport, Ice Armor. You vibe in the synergy here. Finally, we got Lightning Spear. It conjures a spear of lightning that basically goes around you over and over again. It seeks out enemies for 6 seconds, dealing 15% damage on every hit. It's basically amazing, man. So after critically striking, Lightning Spear gains 5% increase, stacking critical chance for its duration. And finally, Invoke Lightning Spear stuns enemies for 2 seconds when critically striking. See all of the effects. You got burning, you got stunning, you got reduction on your cooldown. Conjure Wizard, Summoner Wizard, I mean Summoner Sorc. I don't know why you wouldn't want to try this. Next, Precision Magic. Your lucky hit chance is increased by 15%. Conjuration Mastery, you deal 3% increased damage for each active conjuration, but we have all of our conjuration active, so that's 3, 6, 9%. And finally, Align the Elements. You gain 1% damage reduction against elite for each seconds you have taken damage for up to 40%. So you don't always take damage, right? So the longer you don't take damage, it just increases that 1% and 1% and 1% until it hits 40%. The next time you get slapped by an elite, you get 40% reduction. So it synergizes well with our glass cannon. And finally, Protection. Using a cooldown grants 30% of your maximum life as barrier for 2 seconds. That's basically a free ice armor, man. That's 30% of your base life, 30% of, oh, okay, this is maximum life as barrier for 2 seconds. Either way, it's basically kind of like an ice armor as well, but passive and free, right? So now we're gonna go to our mastery cluster. We're gonna go ahead and take Inner Flames. Our Pyromancer skill deals 9% increased damage while we are healthy, and we're always freaking healthy. We got so much shield, so much teleport. Devouring Blaze deals 30% increased critical damage against burning enemies. So we do burn them from our basic cluster and then critically strike them more with our Lightning Spear and stun them after the Lightning Spear hits them. If they are also immobilized, this bonus increased to 75%. Always a good thing. Crippling Fire. Your Pyromancy skill have up to 15% chance to immobilize, right? Enemies for 2 seconds. This chance is doubled while you are healthy. Let's go ahead and head over to our ultimate cluster. We got Fiery Surge. Killing a burning enemy increases your mana regeneration by 10%, which is awesome when you got ice armor on, because we already increased our mana regeneration by 25%. And finally, we got Endless Pyre. You deal increased burning damage to enemies for each second they remain burning, up to 15% after 5 seconds. But our core, our basic skill burns them for like 8 seconds, and then these things burn them for an extra 6 seconds. Finally, key passive, we got SS Ferocity. The fire critically strike damage is increased by 25% against enemies above 50% life. Your fire critical strike chance is increased by 5% against enemies below 50%. So we have an effect when you're above 50, and we got an effect when you're below 50%. Killing an enemy with a critical strike grants both bonuses against all enemies for 3 seconds. I can't explain how huge that is. So when you go to your endgame build, I highly recommend you check out this freaking Summoner Sorcerer build. And if you guys want to check out this this exact thing that I was showing you, head on over to d4builds.gg. And if you guys want to see more breakdowns of endgame builds, don't forget to hit that follow, that subscribe, that like, that share. Y'all know what it is. And I'll catch you on the next video here at In Manila Plays. Bye, guys.